Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my DDD Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post-Doom of Dimensions. This is the new hype support for the DDD deck from the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set, introducing a bunch of new extra deck monsters, including the new boss monster DDDD Dimensional King Art Crisis, and then a couple other extra deck monsters to go with it, including a new Link monster, Synchro, Xyz, you name it, they're all in here, and a couple new main deck cards as well. So an update was definitely due for the deck for some of the changes made for all of your initial Pendulum starters. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. Our new, bigger boss monster in the deck is DDD Zero Doom Queen Machinex, a scale 0. Pendulum scale effect. During your main phase, if this card is activated this turn, you can place one Dark Contract continuous spell or trap from your deck face up on your field. You can only use this effect of DDD Zero Doom Queen Machinex once per turn. So having that initial setup to just use and get a Dark Contract all the faster using this card. And being a scale 0 can also help to Pendulum summon out level 1 monsters from our hand and extra deck as well. And if a face up DDD and or Dark Contract card you control except DDD Zero Doom Queen Machinex is destroyed while this card's face up in your extra deck, even though in a damage step, you can special summon this card, then you can destroy one card in the field. And if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your Pendulum zone. You can only use each effect of Zero Doom Queen Machinex once per turn, but being able to just have all of this setup in the form of one card definitely does make it a 3 of, just to have those different available options to you in the deck to use for this card. We're still running the 3 copies of DD Savant Kepler for the added search power of being able to add a Dark Contract from your deck to your hand when it's normal or special summon. So then being able to use this card to basically just extend into our other Dark Contracts, including Dark Contract with the Gate, or even our setup with cards like Dark Contract with the Zero King, our new spell also. Also running the 3 copies of DD Griffin for the added setup of if you control a DD monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, giving us access to easier link summons using this card as well. And then being able to, if it's Pendulum summoned, you can discard one DD or Dark Contract card to draw one card. And if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can add one DD card from your deck to your hand, having a bunch of different search and setup depending on where you summon DD Griffin from onto the field. Whether it's a special summon from the Pendulum zone for the setup or the Pendulum summon to then use this card. We're also wanting to run 3 copies of DD Count Surveyor. It's one of the newer cards from Monster Mayhem. One of the cards I'm missing 2 additional copies of for the deck. With this card, once per turn, if you Pendulum summon a DDD monster, you can target 3 monsters your opponent control with the same type or attribute as each other. Tribute 2 of those 3 face-up monsters, and then the third gains attack equal to the total attack and defense that the tributed monsters had on the field. So this is just like taking advantage of the fact that your opponent may have monsters of the same type and attribute to then be able to use those monsters as more of a tribute resource to power up the one monster, but in turn also make it so it can just, get rid of your opponent's monsters that they have on the field also. And you can discard one other DD monster to special summon this card from your hand. And if this card's normal or special summon, you can add one DD monster with 0 attack or defense from your deck to your hand. So the 3 of this card gives us more search options to then add either cards like Kepler or Copernicus to our hand for the added search for those cards, along with one of our new DD monsters that we also run in the deck as well. And some lower numbers for the main deck monsters include 2 copies of Copernicus. It is a send option card when it's normal or special summon to send a DD or Dark Contract card from your deck to the graveyard, but it has to be normal or special summon. So it's another opening starter, just like Griffin and Kepler, to use. But with Copernicus, you really need that added graveyard setup and then additional resources in your hand. So that's why we're also just running 2 of this card, because once again, it can be searched off of cards like Count Surveyor. 2 copies as well of DD Defense Soldier. One of the non-Pendulum DD monsters we're running, being able to activate one of these effects, you can target a DD card in your Pendulum zone, special summon it, or banish one DD monster from your graveyard. If your DD monster attacks this turn, your opponent can activate card effects to the end of damage step, but it helps you grab a Pendulum resource to summon out as well, to then go for additional link plays using this card, including into cards like DD Abyss King, Gilgamesh also. And then the one-ofs for the deck include the one new copy of DD Lance Soldier. You can target a DD monster you control, increase its level by up to the number of dark contracts in your field or graveyard. And if this card's in your graveyard, you can target a dark contract you control, destroy it, and special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it's just another graveyard resource to be able to summon back onto the field. The one Oblivion Abyss King Ragnarok for the special summon power of another DDD in our graveyard. Being a level 8, it can also work with the new Doom Queen Machinex to then go for a rank 8 play into our bigger King Kali Yuga. The one Necro Slime and the one Swirl Slime for the added Banish fusion play with Necro Slime and the fusion play from the hand with Swirl Slime. Savant Thomas for the add back power. One of the new DD Scale Surveyors as well for the special power from the hand if you control a DD Pendulum monster. So if it's a searched resource, you can then use it to summon out onto the field. And then for the rest of the main deck monsters, just our hand trap lineup of 3 Ash Blossom and 3 Mulch Army. Just going with the standard setup of hand traps to use, with the going second package against our opponent to have some responses, along with the trap lineup we run in the deck. For the spells, still running 3 copies of Dark Contract with the Gate, during your main phase being able to add a DD monster from your deck to your hand. So if we can set this card up with Kepler and then be able to use Kepler to search out another additional card, then we can just have the easy special summon or setup search depending on what we need thanks to Dark Contract with the Gate. 3 copies of the new spell Dark Contract with the Zero King. This card's always treated as a DD card. You can target one DD card you control except Dark Contract with the Zero King, destroy it. And if you use special summon one DD monster from your deck, also you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except DD monsters. You can use this effect of Dark Contract with the Zero King once per turn, and once per turn during your standby phase take 1000 damage. Very similar to Dark Contract with the Gate with the 1000 damage, but being able to just have that special summon also gives us access to the other one-ofs for the DD cards we run in the deck as well. And once again, you can use cards like Kepler as the destruction cost to then summon out that other DD monster from the deck. And then the rest of the spells being 1 Dark Contract with the Swamp and the 1 Call by the Grave for more fusion plays with our additional Dark Contract Swamp King, and then Call by just being able to respond to our opponent's hand traps if we can. For the traps, 1 copy of DDD Headhunt. If you control a DDD monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of it till the end phase of this next turn, but its effects are negated. It cannot declare an attack. Also, if it's a monster, special summon from the X deck, it is also treated as a DDD monster, giving you another monster to then use for your extra deck summons as well. And then the 3 Infinite Impermanents just to finish off the main deck cards, and the additional hand traps that we run in tandem with Mulch Army Vuelos and Ash Blossom. For the extra deck, we have 1 copy of the new boss monster, DD Dimensional King Arc Crisis. It needs 4 Fiend monsters, 1 Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, and Pendulum. So it's basically acting as the Zark for the deck. Needing all those monsters, it must either be Fusion summoned or special summoned from your face-down extra deck by banishing the above cards from your field and or graveyard. You can only special summon DD Dimensional King Arc Crisis once per turn this way. No matter which method you use, if this card is special summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. It can attack all of your opponent's monsters once each, and if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your Pendulum zone. So the big play here is to just get out all the different summons that you can to then go for the option to special summon this card with that added play by banishing those cards that you used for your extra deck play. And then from the Pendulum scale, you can target any number of Dark Contract cards you control, destroy them, then you can special summon up to that many Doom King Pendulum monsters from your deck and or extra deck, so giving you back some of those additional monsters as well for the Doom Kings to be able to summon out as well. And then for the rest of the fusions, 2 copies of King Genghis for the added special summon power and one of the easier fusions to be able to summon out. The 1 Flame High King Genghis, needing 1 level 5 or higher DD monster and 1 DD monster, so you can use Flame King Genghis as part of the fusion material for your other fusion as well, going with cards like Swirl Slime, then being able to use cards like Necro Slime or Dark Contract with the Swamp King to be able to summon out. The 2 copies of Divisor King Deus Machinex for the overlay power of being able to exceed summon this by using a DDD monster you control as material, so it can just overlay over our other DDD extra deck monsters as well, having a monster effect negation as well, using the 2 materials for this card to be able to detach as well for this card. The 1 copy of the new DDD Wise King Solomon for one of our new level 4s, being able to detach material from this card to add a DD card from your deck to your hand. And then if it's banished, you can target 1 DD effect monster you control. That effect gains with this card. If it destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. The main play with this is to obviously banish it off of King Arc Crisis Crisis, then give it the additional card effect after it does so, with the additional play of the added monsters as well, being First King Clovis, having an additional banish effect very similar to it, and then the rest of the Xyz monsters being 1 Marksman King Tell, 1 High King Caesar, the 1 Kali Yuga to finish off the Xyz monsters, with our Link monsters being 1 copy of the new DDD Sky King Zeus Ragnarok, needing 2 or more DDD monsters, being able to target a DD or Dark Contract card you control, destroy it. Also during your main phase this turn, you can conduct 1 Pendulum Summon of a DD monster or monsters in addition to your Pendulum Summon. You only gain this effect once per turn, and when your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand, quick effect, you can banish 1 DD monster and 1 Dark Contract from your graveyard, negate the activation. You can only use this effect of Sky King Zeus Ragnarok once per turn, but a true powerhouse for the fact that they can give you an additional Pendulum Summon on top of having the monster effect negation. Also, one of the better Link monsters to grow into, and I would say definitely something we needed for the deck, just being an additional Link monster to use on top of Gilgamesh, which we run in the deck for the added setup of an Easy Link 2, to then be able to just summon out our Pendulum Scales to set up for our Easy Link play, and then the rest of the monsters being 1 First King Clovis and the 1 Cursed King Siegfried for the monster effect negation of Siegfried, and then the Clovis effect of if this card is banished, being able to activate this effect this turn if your D monster attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing bow damage. So if you make this synchro, you have the burn damage thanks to Wise King Solomon, and then King Clovis being able to have piercing damage also for our Art King Crisis. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, I would say the biggest thing is just the consistency we have with some of the newer cards in the deck. As mentioned before, if you go for DD Savant Kepler for the additional search, you can either go for Dark Contract with the Gate or Dark Contract with the Zero King. Having an option now to go into if you are under Droll and Lockbird, just to give you another special summon, is a great tactic to go for also. With this card, you can target 1 DD card you can use for this card, except Dark Contract with a Zero King, destroy it, and then special summon a DD monster from your deck. So then this can give you the summon of another card, being your Doom Queen Machinex, onto the field also for the special summon of this card. If this card, and giving you that extra resource as well to use on the field for the added Pendulum play for your summon, or giving you the added setup. So let's say we start off with our Doom Queen Machinex. You can place this card in the Pendulum Zone during main phase of this card's activated this turn. Place a Dark Contract continuous spell in your deck face up on the field. Going as this effect once per turn, but then you can use Dark Contract with a Zero King as this activation to then destroy your Queen Machinex, giving you the special summon of your Savant Kepler before you even summon out your monster, using Kepler to then add the additional search for our Dark Contract with the Gate, activating this card to give us the additional DD monster. So then with this one we can add Griffin. Having a DD monster, we can then special summon out Griffin. The Queen Machinex is in the extra deck, so don't remember that. Then going for the Link 2 with our 2 monsters to summon out our Gilgamesh onto the field, using this card to then activate the play to set up our Pendulum Scales for what we need from the deck also. So depending on what we want to summon out, we would need a scale 9. We can go for our Scale Surveyor. With this card during the standby phase, target up to 2 cards in Pendulum Zones and their Pendulum Scales become 0. So this can be used, or you can set up your Scale Surveyor and your other Doom Queen Machinex for you then to be able to Pendulum Summon back our Doom Queen Machinex and the additional Griffin card from the extra deck onto the field. And then from there, you can go for your additional summon of your other monsters, depending on what you want to go for. You can use your Gilgamesh and your Griffin to then go into another Link monster, being the Link 3 Sky King Zeus Ragnarok, then being able to have the additional Pendulum Summon, being able to target a DD or Dark Contract control, destroy it, so then you can destroy Dark Contract with a Zero King, having the additional Pendulum Summon this turn, so then you can use it to then summon out your 2 additional DD monsters. Using the overlay power, you can also see summon using a DD monster you control. You can use that to go into Deus King Machinex on the field, giving you the Link and then the additional monster on the field for your summon. The big play for your monsters is obviously to have the tuner setup for your monsters as well, or the setup for your additional synchro or fusion play. That is where, depending on the additional monsters that we have in our hand for each summon as well, for the play being able to only use each effective Griffin once per turn, but if this card is Pendulum Summon, for this summon, using the Pendulum Summon, discarding a DD or Dark Contract card to draw one card. So you can either have the DD cards in your hand or draw into them, needing what you want for the additional summon on the field. But it's just all that additional setup as well, being able to have the added setup, being able to use those cards for your summons also. So if you have cards like Lance Soldier and then the additional Swirl Slime in your hand also, you could have them either searched out, or if they were set in your hand beforehand, you'll have the additional DD summon. So using these two can set up the Synchro and Fusion as well. Going for the discard for both of these cards, if you did it beforehand, you'd have more special summons for those resources to summon out Genghis, and then the additional destruction of Dark Contract with the Gate to summon out our Lance Soldier to the field. This would fill up all 5 monster zones, but then you can use the Lance Soldier, which would be banished after the summon, sending the DD Griffin to the extra deck, summoning out your first King Clovis, and then that gives you all 4 needed monsters to be able to banish for your main go-to boss monster, being the DDD Dimensional King Archcrisis onto the field also, which is a fusion monster, so it doesn't have to go in the extra monster zone. It can go in the main monster zone if you wish. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. This is just the start of the many different decks from the Doom of Dimensions booster set, so look forward to it. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.